you put out there, okay, I want to get up every day at, X amount of time. I want to start saving this amount of money. I want to start doing X, Y, and Z. Now, are those really you at your core? Or is that just like the heat of the moment? Yeah, I'm hyped up in the new year. I'm going to be this better person. I'm going to do things that aren't me at my core. So is it really even being myself? Can that change be real? So then as I was like having all those thoughts, and it's like, okay, like let's say, okay, so like last year I ate like a good way is like, let's say I had a really good diet going where I was watching what I ate, making sure, to stay on like a strict regimen kind of. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the year, it's like the holidays come up, the cookies come out, and it's like, we're human, let's indulge a little bit, okay? So stuff like that happens, and then it's like, okay, the new year's starting up. Do I just be like, okay, drop all that, and now, okay, straight up 100% back into the diet? And then I'm like, okay, I could do that, but is that really me at, like, who I am? Like, what am I doing by just flicking a switch and then being like, okay, off on, off on? Or what if instead, like, January 17th, okay? 117, ironically, but at that point I'm like, no, I feel like I'm going to do this and I'm actually going to do it, and then it is going to be part of me. And then when I had that thought, I was like, all resolutions are stupid. It's just like a hype train to get people to sign up to go to the gym, to buy the healthy food, to like bank off people for a few weeks later. Then they're just like out of money and dead, and it's over. And that was my thought process. I want to know where you stand with that.
Well, I think it's a really good thought.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that resolutions are dumb, because I think if you're gonna do something,
it's about change yourself when you're ready to it, so that the change can actually happen.
And I agree.
So by putting a date on it is like the fakest thing you could do.
I disagree with that though. I think if you want to change something, so like, say I want to lose weight, I want to eat healthier, I want to do whatever.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do, and it's up to me to say, all right, hey, today is August 23rd, and
823.
I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? And it's just like,
cool, okay, that makes sense.
Wake up.
But,
wait, hold on.
Yeah, sorry.
So then I wake up, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'm just going to do it, and I change, and I'm great, and then there you go. It didn't happen on the first year. There was no resolution. Mm-hmm. It was just, hey, I think this is what I want to do that's going to better me. I think this is like a path that I want to take down, and we'll tie that back into, is that still like part of you? Is that you at your core trying to change all that, blah, blah, blah. But then going back to the first year, I think a New Year's resolution in and of itself is not a bad thing. I think they can only be good, because the point, I think, of having a New Year's resolution, and the reason that it happens at the New Year, that it happens on January 1st of, whatever year, is because that's just, it's a good motivator. That's a good, like, jumping on point for you to start something. So it's like, if it's like when I'm like doing something and it's like Friday and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta get like all this stuff, then I gotta do all this stuff, I got all this stuff that's due.
You gotta list this on eBay,
something.
you gotta sell
this.
Yeah,
exactly. Like I got 20 million things to do. I gotta beat all these games, whatever.
Yeah. You gotta get all 999
it's like,
moons.
Cool, exactly. So it's like, okay, I might as well just, like, I'll wait until Sunday. Like, that's a thought that goes in my head. Like, oh, should I just, like, enjoy my weekend, enjoy the rest of the week while it's out, and then once Sunday rolls around and it's a new week, it's just going to be, like, straight to business, and then all Sunday is going to be all business.
But then it doesn't happen is what I'm saying. What happens when it doesn't happen, and then you're like, wait, next Sunday, next year could be business,
Exactly. So then that is 100%
So is it a genuine...
valid, but that is not the fault of a New Year's resolution happening on January 1st.
Yeah.
It's not that fault. It's the fault of you not having enough willpower to do anything. So whether you want to do it on January 1st, you say you want to do it, or if you want to do it on August 23rd, and you say, all right, August 23rd, that's going to happen, and that's when I'm going to start, going to the gym, whatever, and August 23rd comes and goes, and you just... sat on your butt eating bonbons all day,
okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Then it's just like, cool. Either way, whether it was the 1st of January or was it whatever the other date was, it's like...
But I'm saying we're using that date as an excuse. You know what I mean?
I don't think so. An excuse for what, though?
To do it when we're not ready for it.
But why aren't we ready for it?
Because we would have done it by now. Or we would be that changed person. So you're going to like use the date as a crutch, as an excuse to start something that you're not necessarily going to go out with.
But I think you're using it as a crutch to start something that you want to change. I think the crutch is a good thing.
It's like you picked up the quarter and I'm looking at one side and you're looking at the other side.
Exactly. I think it's a support more than a crutch. I feel like a crutch has like a negative term. I want to say it's like a support.
Yeah, I guess what's more important is like what is actually going to make you kind of want to make that change and then stick with it.
That motivation
so it's when you're
needs
ready
to be
for
more.
it, but because you're like...
But I think it's just easy and it's nice, and people like the thought of, okay, cool, like the whole like New Year, new
That's what
me
I mean.
thing.
They like the thought, like they need to be
like the-
coddled and just be like, oh, let the New Year give you a hug and help you
go
with
for it,
this.
man. That's like when you start a new job. If they just like threw you right into straight like into like management position, and
Yeah.
you had no idea what was going on, like you'd be like, hey, someone teach me what to do. Like, don't just throw me in here. Like, ease me into it. Don't just like trial by
Ease 'em
fire. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's so not okay. So I like the idea of a New Year's resolution happening, and I like. If you have New Year's resolutions, by all means, go for it. Like, that is A-okay. You can have them. Like,
No, it's not. No, I'm joking. It's okay.
I don't care.
No, it's okay. I'm joking.
You can do whatever you want.
No, wait. Here's my question
I don't
though.
care, but
Did you ever set any and follow through with it?
ever, like in my
Yeah.
life?
Yeah, even if it was small, anything, just out of curiosity.
No.
Because I'd say for myself, no, and then I would say anybody that I know,
Never.
no. If I like think of like, maybe like I have an uncle who lost a lot of weight. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a New Year's resolution. It was just like, hey, like I need to get healthy. I have a kid now. Like the
Right.
motivation comes from the kid or the external object, not
Right.
the date on the calendar. And that's what I'm
Absolutely.
saying. So it's like, why are we being tricked into the date on the calendar being that motivator when it really is like, or here's another good way to do it. Like I got a dude at work who he has diabetes or whatever. His diet's pretty poor, blah, blah, blah. But he's like a smart dude, you know, but it's just like temptation, you know, he falls into it sometimes. And and you could just tell like one time when the doctor was like with the diabetes started messing with his eye, he or eyes both, I guess. He had to start getting shots in them and all this. And we talked about it a few times, and I think it was the time when the doctor's like, you know, you could get to the point where you won't be able to see your granddaughter anymore and stuff like that. And that's like when it hits them. So it's not like, and then if it goes back to that dude, it's not like, okay, January 1st rolls around, got diabetes, you know, I'm going to turn that around, blah, 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 start eating good, you know. Because, I mean, you could have like the perfect, you know, storm of like, okay, you have diabetes, now you're going to exercise, now you're going to eat good, and just reverse it all together, you know. But like his motivation wasn't within himself. It wasn't on a date or anything. It was like, oh, I could possibly not see my granddaughter grow up. And it's like that external force.
Right.
So that's why, like, for me, it's like,
I
it's
totally
funny
agree.
to me to think like, I don't know. I just feel like people get not deceived, but tricked into thinking that like, oh, the New Year's going to propel me in this great direction, when it's like, no, like the dumbest thing we can do is not learn from history. Yes.
Right.
And what has history taught us? We've never done it right once. So we should be like looking for those external factors that are going
Right.
to push us in the right direction.
100%.
And that's like my whole thought process that I wanted to like, you know,
Yeah.
expel to you.
But I think even if you use like the date or whatever, and like we said, like none of us has ever like honestly like followed through on a New Year's resolution, I would wager that the majority of people never have. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that the common answer is that no one's ever like set a New Year's resolution and actually gone through with it. But I will say lots of things have happened where like New Year's resolutions came up, and I thought about it. I'm like, oh yeah, that would be a good New Year's resolution. That's whatever. Like that's like what our whole last thing was about. Like when we were on the computer, like, oh yeah, these are all the things.
that's
that
because we
wanna
were
do.
naive back then.
Exactly.
Now we're new
right.
people.
A whole,
Yeah, this
whole
is
3
this
weeks ago. But that at least got us thinking about it, and that got us like started on a path, and that got us, you know, to like think about and research and maybe look into
Yeah.
different avenues more,
Yeah.
just because of that, you know, New Year's resolution thing, just because it's the new year and it's like, okay, cool, we're gonna like try and do this, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that in and of itself, that's a benefit. Like I think a New Year's resolution doesn't do anything to hurt anybody. I think that's what I mean by like it can only be good, because it's like, yeah, you set a New Year's resolution and you don't follow through with it. Well then, hey, that's just because you
kick
don't
when
have
you're
willpower.
down.
That's like your fault. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's not the fact that you made a New Year's resolution that you couldn't keep up with it. It's like you could have kept up with it. Like if I had a New Year's resolution to walk a mile every single day,
Yeah.
I physically have the ability to do that. I 100% can do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I don't do it, that's totally my fault. That's not the fact that I said a New Year's resolution's fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is the thing that actually would have helped me get through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I think not that they are always beneficial, but they are not always. I don't know the word I want to use though.
I don't want to say
beneficial, but like not like you don't ever like you don't always get something out of it. Like they're not always productive.
Yeah.
They're not always like
they're not going to give you a result.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're not gonna like finalize into anything, because that's all you. But so like if it just takes to be the first of the month for you to be like, all right, hey, I'm gonna actually start looking into, you know, losing weight. I'm actually gonna start looking into quitting smoking. Like I'm gonna do whatever. It's like then good. Way to go. Like I'm glad that this
Okay, this is a good
New Year's
transition
what
too. But
took
I don't
you
want to
off,
stop
so.
you. Do you have anything else you want to go
No,
on
I
with
think
this?
I'm okay.
Okay, so now you bring up like the eating bad, the smoking, the stuff like that. Like, how did the world get to the spot, like to the point where like those vices became like so normal? You know what I mean? Where we got to the point now where it's like, no, you need to stop. You know what I mean? Like, why did we introduce them? I don't want to say why do we introduce them, but it's very intriguing that, like, okay, like, anything could be introduced just through, like, chance, you know? So it's like, yeah, they got introduced. That makes complete sense. But, like, we're species so much of, yeah, I guess, like, temptation is such a good way to put it, you know? Where it's like, you're smoking, you should stop smoking. No, I'm not going to stop, you know?
Right.
Or, like, hey, you should, like, eat better. Like, there's, like, concrete evidence here of, like, what's going on in your body and all this stuff. And you're not going to be happy one day, you know?
Right.
Like, okay, you could start like, you should start exercising. And I know this is a lot of, like like, what people don't want to do. They don't want to hear anything like that. But it's like, it's so intriguing to me that it, like, it's gotten to that point, or at least it's gotten to that point in my head where it's like, there's so much evidence out there of, like, all the stuff we do. And it's like, hey, like, it's not about how long you live. It's about, like, the quality that you live in that period, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's like, just to degrade that quality so much just to be happy maybe for a little bit or feel good for like 2 seconds, it like blows my mind. Do you ever think about stuff like that?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. I want to put perspective.
I just want to say,
because I know I'm way out there.
Don't you think that totally contradicts itself though? That you were just like, oh, it's not about how long you live, it's about the quality of life. And then
that's true. Okay.
So real quick.
Yeah.
So that was
that's
your
good.
one statement, and then your next statement was, so why would you sacrifice, you know, your life and your health and all this stuff just so that you could have, like, you know, you're smoking a cigarette or you're eating that cheeseburger or whatever, just to have a few moments of like, hey, this feels good, hey, this makes me happy, hey, whatever. But like, you're shortening your life and, you know, damaging your health and everything at that point.
Yeah.
But it's like, then couldn't you make the argument that quality of them smoking that cigarette and being happy, or eating that cheeseburger and being
100%.
happy, even though their life now is being, you know, exponentially shortened,
yeah,
but they're happy, so their quality of life is up here.
See, I don't know if
they're
they're happy
doing it, but their length is down here. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, but that's what makes them happy. So it's like, then by all means do it if that makes you happy.
But I would say this: that's the difference between balance and like just indulging in something. You know what I mean? So what
Absolutely.
if you? So my difference is like, okay, remember we went out to eat or whatever, and you're like, oh, I'm glad to see the new Ryan that's not eating healthy, blah blah blah, and all that. And it's like, yeah, like that's okay. Like every once in a while, or you're at a party and you're like having fun, and then you give yourself like time to recover, and you're smart about everything. But the difference is like, oh no, I'm gonna smoke like 2 packs of cigarettes a day, and then I'm gonna go eat like McDonald's 4 times a day.
Right.
Oh, and wait, Taco Bell's open till 2 a.m. That's what I mean. Is like, I guess it's more of like the binary reality where it's like either like you could fall on the one side where you're like, okay, I'm at the gym all the time, blah blah blah, and it's like you could argue that is just unhappy as like, you know, the complete other end where it's like you're just miserable because you feel so bad all the time.
Right.
Like I understand balance and everything makes sense. But maybe it's like the two extremes and like getting in that extreme mindset, which like fascinates me a lot too.
Right, absolutely.
But I think it's really easy to fall into that kind of
Because
stuff.
what I was gonna say, you could be on the other side where like you're all about like, oh, I can only eat healthy. Like, oh man, I can only eat gluten free. Like, I can't eat this. Like, oh man, you have potato chips. Screw that, man. I can't eat those. You know, like whatever. And you get on that whole side of the spectrum where the only thing you eat is like all natural, organic, everything. It's like, yeah, that's better for you, and like, yeah, obviously that's healthier and stuff. But it's like. But at that point, when you're like stressing out so much about what you're putting in your body, and that's like all you focus on, and it's like, yeah, I can't waste time like playing a video game or watching TV or like getting a bag of popcorn when I go to the movies or whatever, you know what I mean? And you're so like gung-ho on that. Yeah. It's like, then I feel like your quality of life then could be like diminishing, you know what I mean? Because you're so stressed out about all these other
but that's one of the extremes that I'm saying.
Exactly,
like,
that's what I'm saying. So it's like,
factor.
so there's that. So you got to find that happy medium where it's like, yeah, you're healthy, but like also like you're not, you know, doing whatever, which is like my whole point where it's like, yeah, like that's where I would like to be, is like, yeah, where I go to the gym, because like I honestly, like, I don't hate going to the gym, and I don't hate eating healthy foods and stuff like that. Doesn't bother me. So it's like, yeah, if I can do that and then just work that into like a normal routine, but it's like, but I would hate to like be the guy who like wakes up and I have to like write down all my macronutrients and write down all my micronutrients and all the things that I ate, and like you see like those crazy like bodybuilders and stuff who will like calculate everything, and then they like at the end of the day they'll eat like 1 scoop of like chocolate peanut butter ice cream or something just to get like the exact number of like the micronutrients. I'm like, that's so crazy. Like, why? Like, you seriously can't be happy like worrying about that all day.
But I'd say that's like somebody getting 999 moons and something too, you know, where it's like one of those, which that's like a different thing too. And I don't refer to like people I really know or like friends in that aspect where like this kind of stuff, but it's just like, you know, I spend a lot of time going to the doctors in the hospital, and like you see the people walk in that are just like on death's door, and you're like, seriously. Okay, here's a good example too, is like one time I had to go to like this oncology unit and all this for because it's like the same thing where if you have blood issues and all that, it's like the cancer place and all that, just because I don't remember why. But the one doctor was just like, all right, let's beef up your iron count or whatever. You know, you're a growing boy. Get it up there. And I was like, okay, whatever. So it's like funny, like I'm not there for the same reasons as everybody else. And you see like all the people with like cancer and all that coming in and getting chemo and all that. And it like blew my mind waiting in the waiting room. And this is I want to know what you have to say about this, because like everything I read and understand is like, okay, like if you stick to like a strict like natural like vegetable fruit diet kind of like that, it's like you could kind of put your cancer at bay because the sugar is what feeds it, I guess, is what I understand. But it's like if you just give your body these pure nutrients, you'll kind of be okay. But then these people came in and they were like kind of like working with the hospital, and what they're like, oh no, cookies and tea today. And I'm like sitting there and I'm like, wait, we're like blasting ourselves with chemotherapy, which like sometimes you like hear people like doctors talk about chemotherapy, depending on the doctor who it is. Like the best thing you could do is catch cancer late, so you're not blowing yourself with chemotherapy and then finding like an actual treatment that's gonna like not kill you in the process, basically. And it just like blew my mind where it's like, oh yeah, we'll give you like, here's your sugar, and like just we're gonna just blast you with sugar right before you go and get your chemo. And in my mind, it's like, that's not helping anybody here, But it's like, is it mentally helping them? Where it's like, oh, these are comfort foods, and like
right.
we're not gonna be around forever anyway, so just eat it. And I know that's something we could never understand until we get to that spot where we're just like, knocking on death's door. But that was like one of those examples where it like kind of like blew my mind, like how they were handling it and everything. I was just like, wow. And then I was gonna ask the doctor and be like, wait, so isn't there like adequate research out there that shows, depending on what you eat, how it affects all this different kind of stuff? But then I was like, no, it's like, then you get in arguments with doctors and your own doctors. And
right,
then I'm like,
like,
wait, I'm
you
just
don't
like,
want that to happen.
zip, boom.
Yep.
See ya. I was like, thanks, doctor, out of here.
Right.
Oh, but I don't know. Doesn't that like what is your thought on that? Like just give the people like the comfort food and like let them be happy, and just like I don't know. Then it goes into like to strive like what kind of society? I don't know. It could get so deep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say go right ahead.
Just like eat the cookie and be happy.
You want. Like do whatever you want.
Like, if you, hey, here's a cookie and here's let me light up your cigarette, like that.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Like no worries. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like if you were so whatever and you were like so dead set on like chemotherapy and like you really like researched it and you believe that you shouldn't eat cookies and like whatever, and then here comes Nurse Betty coming up saying,
Betty Crocker,
right?
Yeah.
Say, hey, here's your chocolate chip cookies. Like here you go. It's gonna make you feel better, whatever. Yeah. Then you as the individual can say, no, I don't want that. Thank you, but I'll pass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you're just going to eat the cookies because it's going to make you feel better, and you're like, you want to feel good because you're getting all these things like shot all up in you and all this radiation and whatever, and you're just like, yeah, screw this.
Yeah.
I want a cookie. So it's like, cool, then do it. Like, I don't care. That's like my whole mindset on like people who can do whatever they want. Like you can literally do, I don't care. As long as you're not bothering me and you're not bothering somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole point. And
so
that's like, what?
Cookie.
Right. Like exactly. Like if you want your cookie, take it. If you don't want your cookie, don't take it. I don't care. I still have to go to work every day. I still have to make money. I will now have to be paying rent still. Like, regardless of or not, whether you eat that cookie, I have 20 million other things that I have to worry about. You know what I mean?
So what about propelling like society to like a better place, kind of?
What do you mean?
Exactly that though, kind of like. What if like I don't know what to say because it could come off like 1,000 ways wrong. Like a lot of this.
I want an example. How is society? So you're saying
no, but I'm saying like
put society in a different direction.
Okay, so like I always say how like apparently the New York Times published this article where it was like, hey, back in the 50s, 60s, whatever it was, back in the like 1900s, where the sugar industry like paid scientists, I don't know, it was like $50,000 worth of today's money to kind of like skew research or present it in a way that like saturated fat causes heart disease and that carbohydrates are healthy for you, blah, blah, blah. And then now it's like kind of showing that like, no, saturated fat is good. And it's like if you mix the saturated fat with the like carbohydrates and all that, that's when the bad stuff starts to happen. And it's like all these textbooks were written wrong. You know what I mean? Like all the repercussions on that. So, like, is it, like, worthwhile going back and then being like, no, wait, all this is wrong, And it's like we should be, maybe eating this or that, and we shouldn't be mixing this. Like, a good way to put it is like, okay, let's say, okay, if you're going to eat a high-fat diet, it's like, okay, let's put butter on everything, olive oil, blah, blah, blah. But then it's like, okay, what if you're eating just, like, French fries and greasy stuff with that, too, which is just, like, terrible. That combination is, like, what causes all these issues, And it's like, what if people are, like, no, like, I don't care. I just want to eat that because it tastes good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so do you propel society in the way and be like, okay, or it's kind of like this. So I'll like one doctor that I always try to tell you to listen to is like, okay, Dr. Rhonda Patrick, which is like, she's phenomenal. And one of her things too was like, she's kind of like in that whole functional medicine approach was like, one day she's just going to be like, what if I'm a doctor and I'm prescribing this patient? No, you need to start running 2-3 miles a day, And that's like your treatment. Do you think that's like fair? Like, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, like if she says, like if you go to this doctor and the doctor responds with, yeah, like this is what you need to do, and like, yeah, there's no like medicine or no whatever that you can take that's gonna fix it. But
Well,
it's
what
like,
if food is medicine and it's like, hey, we
Exactly,
want you to
it's like,
eat
yeah, if
this.
you
You're
eat
not
this
going to
better-
eat this sugar stuff, and
Right.
you're going to start running 3 miles a day.
absolutely. And
Absolutely, sign me up.
if there are doctors who are saying that, like, great, way to go. I am so proud of you for wanting to do that.
But here's what you're
Wonderful.
going to say. You're
But
going to
if-
say it doesn't affect me right now, but what happens the time when you're sitting there and it does affect you, but you don't feel its effects, but like let's say they look at a scan of you internally and they're like, hey, like it's in your best interest that you start
then
doing this.
you better believe me personally, I would 100%.
Are you going to run out that door?
I'm
That's
just
going to be
like,
the start
I'm
of your
like,
3
all right,
miles
that's
that
my
day?
3 miles right there, right? Like, forget the car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, absolutely, for me,
Yeah.
yeah, because I can understand like what that is. I can understand like what all that means.
Now, what about the people that
goes
can't
through that.
understand it,
Now, the
though?
people that can't understand it, sorry, like,
So you're really just
Figure it
Yeah,
out.
so you're in it just for yourself.
I mean, kind of like, it all goes back to like just letting people do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole point of freedom. Like that's why like in all these other countries that
America.
have like dictators and like whatever, not necessarily like America, but just like there are more free countries. I know, newsflash, there are more free countries than just America in the world.
Yeah.
Which some people don't think.
Maybe
but-
that'll be episode 5.
Exactly right. So anyway, yeah, so it's like cool. Go be free, do whatever you want. And it's like, right, you can get all the information. I can force all of this information on you that I want to. And it is still ultimately up to that person whether or not they listen to the information, they interpret it, and they act on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, so if the doctor, if I feel like crap every single day and, you know, I like hate getting out of bed and like whatever, and I just, you know, drive on over to McDonald's, go through the drive-thru, say, hey, yeah, I'll get my 2, you know, sausage biscuits or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
with
give me
egg and
3
cheese.
McGrills, yeah.
Yes.
Give me all that. Give me my large coffee, you know, whatever. Then for lunch, I walk next door to the Taco Bell. I'm like, hey, I'll get, you know, a number 5 with a large Pepsi. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
give me 3 cheese gordita crunches.
Well,
or
you don't
whatever.
walk to Taco Bell. That's when you're in the chair and you're just like
Exactly
straight up
right.
to
You just
Taco-
go right through. You know what I mean? And so it's like
Yeah.
right, like all that. Then it's like cool, and I know I'm doing that, and I feel like crap every day. It's gonna be like, I wonder why I don't feel good. And then I go to the doctor, tell her all this, and she's like, oh yeah, you need to like start introducing more vegetables in your diet. You need to start introducing, you know, all these different
You're
things.
like, I don't like
you should do more
vegetables.
exercise and do all that. And then she's gonna be like, okay, well then I don't know what you want me to do. You know what I mean? It's like she's not going to force me to eat it. She can only present me with the information. So if she tells me, if the doctor is telling me, hey, this is what you have to do, and this is going to make you feel better, and this is what it all takes, then I'm going to be like, okay, cool, I'm there. But then when you get into the point of like, oh, hey, yeah, you need to start taking like all these vitamins, and you need to start having all these nutrients. You need to start having all this other stuff.
You're just like, I'm
That's-
exhausted, just like.
That's where I start to lose it, and that's where I'm kind of like, I don't know.
That's
about
what I'm
any
saying
of
now.
that,
Do you think
but-
presentation matters?
What do you mean?
Like, let's say how somebody presents it to you, you know, where it's like. if
Yeah,
one person's
absolutely.
Like, you like using the word you know, like, okay, you need to
Right.
start walking, or it's like, hey, like, here, let me like explain this to you. Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay.
Discord's updating, but like, what if it's like, hey, they sit you down and they're like, hey, like, here's kind of what happens, and here's what we can do, and here's how we could like wean into it in a way that's gonna work for you. You know, like the difference. So
Right.
maybe like presentation is everything when it comes to that, and I think that's what intrigues me the most. Where it's like, I want to find the way to like present it in a way where it's like acceptable and they could, you know, get people, propel them in a different direction, you know. And it's a
Absolutely.
presentation that like, oh, like I got so many good examples of presentation too, where it's just like, it blows my mind.
That's what I'm saying. So that's like, right, like when you're at work and you need to get this project done, all right? And the project is moving like this thing over to here.
Moving it, yeah.
Already, you
done.
You know what I mean? Like you
Project
got
done.
I started working at GameStop, all right?
Yeah.
Say the thing is, we have to switch the Xbox wall and the PlayStation wall. All right, they're switching sides. It's happened before, so like whatever. I can have my boss come in here and be like, hey, this is what you're doing. You're taking those and you're putting them over here, and
Yeah.
that's the way you're doing it, and just do it, get it done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's like a real jerk about it, and he's just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Or he comes in and he's like, hey, man, so this is our project for today. We're going to take this, and we're going to go do this, and we, and I'll be here to help you, and like
And
whatever.
you
know
suck.
what I mean? Right, exactly. You know what I mean? And like, I'm here to help you, and like,
Yeah.
if you have questions, ask me, like whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool. The result is the same, but the way we went about it and the way it was presented was different. So I 100% agree
Yeah.
that, like,
Presentation is
absolutely.
everything.
So if the way you present the information, that's like if you turn in a paper or you turn an application to a job,
Yeah.
and it's got kombucha stain all over it. You know what I mean? And you
Yeah.
sneezed on it, and your dog ripped a hole through it. You know what
Okay.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and you turn that in.
yeah.
Or me who has this perfectly clean thing, like in a nice folder, whatever, has everything labeled properly, whatever. And then I turn that in. It's like, cool. Which application do you think is more likely to be
I think what's on the
looked at,
paper is the most important part.
but it's not, and that's what's so crazy is that it actually.
I got to think about that.
So
That's good.
like no, because most of the time when you just in business and stuff, I don't know, it might be different from medicine, but for business, a lot of the times they barely look at your what you have written down and everything. They do a quick skim over it, try and pick out one thing, and then that's the one thing that gets you in. It's crazy. So it's like you can put oh yeah.
So it's the sneeze drop on there. Oh, that got you in.
No. So you list all the jobs you've had since you left high school, right? So I worked at the Exchange, I worked at St. V Grade School, I worked at this place, I worked at that place, I worked here, I worked there.
Yeah.
You have all these things. They're just gonna go. Oh, cool. You were a marketing manager at this small business, 2 years ago. Yeah. I'm looking for a marketing manager. Cool. Circled. There you go. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then that's it. They don't care about the rest of your stuff. They don't care about your GPA. They don't care about what school you went to. They don't care what your degree's in. Nothing.
Yeah, but you're just talking about a resume right now.
Yeah,
you know
so I'm talking about application. This is all getting back to presentation. So that's how it happens, right? That's your presentation. Well, then if you turn it in with the stains and the dog hole and the whatever,
the dog hole,
the hole that the dog put in there, yeah. And you turn that in there, they're gonna look at that and be like, I don't even want to read this because if this person doesn't care enough.
But wait, if there's a dog hole, you're gonna be missing the part about the whole marketing, and then you're not gonna get it anyway.
Exactly my point. So they're gonna look at it and be like, oh well, if this person doesn't care enough about to provide me with something better, then it's I don't care enough to read it. Pfft, trash can.
Yeah.
And it's all presentation. You could have the exact same information on there, but because your presentation because it was presented differently, one gets in and one doesn't.
Yeah.
So this all ties back into your point.
The dog hole, man.
I
I'm
totally
intrigued.
agree. I don't understand why this is such an unfathomable thing for you. And so it all ties back into how your presentation matters. So it's if there was a super fun way to explain to me what all the different vitamins did and why they're important and why I need them and what they're going to do for me, then hey, great. And it's fun and exciting, I'm there. But if it's, Dr. Bob Jones,
I think you're doing apples to oranges though, for sure.
And it's cool, then I don't care.
Dr. Bob from the Muppets, yeah.
Exactly.
It's straight up apples to oranges though, because that's saying, if I give you the list of vitamins and supplements, what you should be taking.
Yep.
Now we're just going to focus on one. What
do you mean?
Because you're saying, okay, I'm just going to focus on the fact that, okay, you were a marketing person at this thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's the only one that matters. I don't care about GPA. I don't care about any other experience. So now I take that same thing where I have this pristine copy of your vitamin supplements, exercise, and stuff like that. We're just going to focus on, okay, vitamin K2.
Yeah, that's not how I meant it though. But all I meant was the presentation about the the chewed up one and the not chewed up one.
Yeah. So I don't know if it translated perfectly, but I know what you mean.
That's what my whole point was. But you're just too fixated on the dog hole. That's all.
Yeah.
So. No, but that's what I'm saying though. If you handed me right now, if you printed out and you did all this hard work to make a whole list and description of what every vitamin did and what every vitamin I'd taken on that, do you know what happened with that list?
It would go right to the dog hole.
It'd go right into my back seat and probably sit there for 3 months.
All the stuff that I sent you, where it's you should watch this.
Exactly, and it just doesn't get watched, whatever. And it's just gonna sit in my back seat and whatever. But it's if you say, hey, here's this YouTube video and it's this person who's presenting
you should watch
this. Fun and it's animated and it looks cool and whatever.
Oh yeah.
It's okay,
it's an anime on vitamins.
It's an anime. Yeah, exactly. And it's hey, you should watch it. Okay, cool. Then I'll check it out. It's exciting. It's fun to watch. Whatever. Boom. There you go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're all set. So yeah, I totally agree with that presentation. And it's hey, if you want to do that, then yeah. But again, I also think to fundamentally, as a person, you can't only you can change you no matter what. You know what I mean? Regardless of how it's presented. If you don't want to learn it and you don't want to change, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, keep this rolling for 2 seconds.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I just think change is it's all based on you. You know what I mean? It's
okay. I just want to make sure the quote was right. Dads.
Yeah.
Dad's the band.
No, but okay.
Only only you can change yourself.
Exactly.
Beautiful. Yeah, just throw that one out there.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's absolutely right. What do you expect anyone else to do? And then you have to look at yourself and be hey, would you change someone else? Would you help someone else? And if your answer is no, then it's well, then why would they help you? You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess.
You're expecting them to be a better person than you are. And it's how is that fair? That doesn't make any
no
sense.
Expectations. No.
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
So it's cool. No wonder. But That's just me.
Give me a dog hole. That's all.
I know. Now you're too
With-
fixated on the dog.
Wait, what was the
I don't think
Splatoon
anything
thing,
else
too?
has been going on. In your
Oh,
head.
Jaloon. Splatoon came out in
Oh,
Jaloon.
Jaloon.
Now we're bringing them back. That's pretty good.
Right.
Wait, let's see how this ties into like your whole theory on the. So you went to like McDonald's today.
Oh
and then
yeah,
the whole
so I went to
thing, like-
McDonald's. So my whole thing on empathy was which kind of contradicts what I just said about like caring about people, but yeah. So the story is I go to McDonald's, get 10 chicken nuggets, medium fry, bottle of water, great. Get everything in the bag, chicks at the window, say hey, how's it going? I'm good.
The chick's giving you the chicken nuggets.
Yep, and she's like I'm good. I'm like cool, and she goes here you go, thanks.
How old was she?
It had to be our age, like it had to be like 20,
So she's like-
early 20s,
So this is her career.
probably.
Okay.
And so I was like, hey, thanks, have a good day. And then I just hear click, and she closed the window. Like,
Yeah.
as soon as I was like, oh, hey, thanks so much,
No
have a good
thank
day.
you. No nothing.
Nothing. It was just like, here you go. Hey, thanks, have a good day. Click. Oh, okay, cool, awesome. So then, whatever, driving, late getting here, so I'm like, all right, I'm just going to, like, stick my hand in the bag, and eat it on the way.
Yeah.
Put it in. So, their containers are, like,
Was there
this
a dog
big for
hole in the
medium.
bag?
There was.
Yeah.
And so just had, like, their containers this big. There was maybe, like, this many fries in there.
What if that's all they had though?
It's
and
not.
then it's like, sorry, sir. Like it's gonna be like 20 minutes to an hour to get you a few more fries.
Then I'd have been like, okay, cool, I'll order something else. Like,
Okay.
don't just give me like whatever, but like,
Would it be
provide
better?
me with
Like,
that information.
what if you like take out your fries and it's just lettuce in there?
I'd be pissed.
Would you?
Yeah, unless she charged me for a medium lettuce, then I'd be okay.
Okay. Just
But if I
checking.
get charged for something that I don't get, then it's not okay.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's like half a thing of fries, and I was just like, what the hell? Like I paid medium price, whatever. I don't even remember what it was. It was like $8 or something for everything.
Yeah. That's a
And-
lot.
Yeah, it is. And I was like, I paid all this. I paid this money, and then I get like half a thing of this. I'm like, that's so weird. Like this was like the amount that would go into like one of the small bags and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, so that's so weird the way that like why did that happen though? Because it probably happened because nobody there really cares about their job. They don't care about their customers coming in. They don't care about really anything. You know what I mean? And it's like they just want to go in, clock in, get a paycheck, have fun with their friends, leave, get paid. Like that's it. That's all they want to do, and that's totally fine because that's like pretty much what I want to do with my job. Like I understand that like temptation and that mindset is there, but my thing is like when I would give them the fries, like I'd make sure that was like as full as like could possibly fit in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Indulge.
why would you not? Like it's always better. Don't you think it'd be better to always like give more than give less? You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, give me more fries, whatever. Just at least like the normal like medium amount, and then it'd be like, okay, cool, here you go. Like, how hard could that have been to have actually done that? So I tie that back to like me working at GameStop, and like I was telling you downstairs, like yeah, I would have a mom come in who's like, hey, like really sorry, but I don't know anything about like video games. This is all really confusing for me. I have this list. This is what my son, told me. Can you help me figure it out? And it's like, yeah, of course I can. Like I will help you out. All stuff. So I go through. I'm with her for 25 minutes, helping her figure out, like, yeah, this is the game you want. This is, like, really good. This is a game that's like this. Maybe he won't like this. I know it's on his list, but it's gotten really bad reviews. You shouldn't
You're
get
like,
this
"Don't
one.
get him,
like,
Bubsy."
whatever. Exactly, right.
Get Super Lucky Tails.
Exactly.
Super Lucky
It's
Tails.
way better. And so I'm just like, yeah, so just, help him out, whatever. And at the end of it, she's like, oh, yeah, well, thanks. Like, you were super helpful. Like, you were great. Like, awesome. Thank you so much, whatever. And I'm like, hey, there's a survey at the bottom of the sheet. Like, make sure you fill that out.
Do they fill it out often?
Yeah. I usually get
Because
pretty
they
good ones,
normally
so.
say something to you right then.
Yeah.
Like your boss or whatever.
Yeah, we print them out and it shows all the surveys and everything. So,
Did you ever get any bad ones?
yeah, I have before, but it's whatever.
Just let it roll off.
Exactly. And so, but that's what I'm saying though. So it's like, yeah, so like I would go that extra step to help like a complete stranger just so that they have a good experience, because then like why not? You know what I mean? Like what do I gain from giving them a bad experience? Nothing.
Nothing. But that's why the cream rises to the top.
What?
You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah, it does, because there needs to, I just had this conversation with somebody else too. I wish I would remember who it was.
Otherwise it'd all be cream.
No, okay, because there's a spot for people like that, and there's jobs for people like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Not
but they are
everyone's the
not
same.
customer service jobs.
Okay, then.
People who are bad at customer service should not have a job in customer
Okay, so
service.
then the time that person's going to be working there might be limited. Who knows?
Sure.
But over how many fries they put in the.
And that's what I'm saying.
funny.
Like it's so like minuscule.
But your
like, who
ability
cares?
to
But
like have
go
that
ahead.
conversation, do something like that, is what gives you the opportunity to rise up. The
Exactly,
ladder.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
The fact that I noticed it and I understand like that it was more than just like, it's some dumbass working at McDonald's. Like, oh, they work at McDonald's. Of course they do.
Yeah.
Because they can't fill up a fry box properly. Like, And then that would have been
That's
that,
like the worst thing to say too, though. Like, just be like, hey,
100%.
Like,
Like,
be like, hey, can you like, I ordered a medium. It's like kind of,
yeah.
it's not like, can we please fill this up? You know what I
And
mean?
this thing is like, I wouldn't want to do that because then it'd be like, and then I feel like a jerk. You know what I mean? Like,
No, I
asking
think
friends
that's where you
for,
just
like,
you
it to be
can't
crazy.
worry about it. Like if that's what you want
and that's
to
why
say.
like it's whatever. But it just made me think, and like the whole like fry situation.
Yeah.
Was
This
just
is like Frygate.
that was just the conduit that
2018.
got me into this. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
hashtag a day without French fries.
Yeah.
Like,
That's good.
so that's just like the conduit that like got me, you know, to think about like, that's weird. Like why? Like I totally would go above and beyond, which I do. Like in all of my jobs, I've done that. Where it's like, yeah, like I want to go and like provide you with the best possible experience you can have. Because, and I think it's like some subconscious thing, and this is what I was thinking on the drive up here too, or back here from the McDonald's, is like, what if I ran into that person again? You know what I mean? Like, what if I run into that mom who I spent 25 minutes with and helped her pick out all this great stuff, and like, I'm at some situation where I'm at like her place of business, wherever she works, and it's like, oh, hey, and she'll be like, oh, hey, you're the guy who helped me out with the DS, and it's like, oh, hey, what's up? Like, hey, how's it going? And then she's like, oh, yeah, you were super friendly last time. Hey, let me see what I can do to help you out here. Oh, hey, here's a 25% discount on, like, whatever we're doing. Like, here you go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that. Or if I was a jerk to her and then I go into that business and she'd be like, oh, yeah, I hate you.
What comes around
And then
goes
she's like,
around.
exactly. You know what I mean? And so it's like, right. So, like, why would you not, like, at every opportunity, and especially, like, when my name is associated with it, it's like, I want that to be as, like, positive as possible. You know what I mean? And so it's like, also then for like that guest experience, it'd be like if I was working at McDonald's, which again, like I haven't worked at McDonald's, I've just known plenty of people who have, but
maybe soon.
Exactly right, it might be coming up. But so I don't know like how like she could have been totally busy, like not even thinking about it. And again, like one dude driving through the drive-thru who orders a medium fry that they serve 300 a day, like I totally understand that is not it like the forefront of their mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like whether or not I got enough French fries in my medium container, they could not care less. They physically could not care any less than they already do about it.
Do you want to know what the whole point
I totally
of this is,
understand
though?
that. But, yeah, go ahead.
I don't mean to interrupt.
That's okay. Go ahead.
But, no, it's like that, like how insignificant that event was that she probably has no idea. The impact, like the butterfly effect that it so far has like cascaded onto your life.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So for
and she's not even thinking
everything
about
you
it.
do, there's like that consequence to like everything. You know what I mean? So the only thing you can take away from this is like when you go out to make sure that
Exactly.
if it
That
affects
way,
you
if
that way,
I'm in that,
you
if
can
I was, if
understand.
I'm ever in her position, now I've learned and now I know how to do it. You know what I mean?
Sonder,
Like, sundowner.
but
Yeah, close enough.
yeah, that's good. You like to remember that though,
Absolutely. So yeah, that's just
because there's like so many times at work too where it's like you get all these salesmen are just like whatever, you know what I mean? And you're
Right.
just like seriously, like instead of putting periods, they'll just like 10 commas in the row, and then the next word's capitalized in its entirety. Then the next one's spelled wrong, and then it's like 3. Then it's like 4 more commas, and then finally punctuation. You're just like, and then they like CC a vendor, you know, like somebody who you're supposed to look for.
Right.
You're just like, what's going on here? And then it's like, no, just give them all a pass. Thank you so much. Like I really appreciate it. Like everything,
Yeah.
and just blow them away, and everybody's happy, and like keep the good vibes rolling. You know what I mean?
See, I think this whole show has turned into the death of professionalism. And where has professionalism gone?
I don't think so. You're bringing it back with the good vibes. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just something crazy. Just a
It's
thought.
just professionalism's just a word, you know.
Right.
Like
Absolutely.
how you carry yourself is just you should do it in a manner that you feel is right.
Absolutely. And so that was just like the whole thing, the whole French fry thing. Just like,
The debacle.
yep. Just like made me think. I'm like, huh. Like I wonder why she didn't. Like, how did you? Like, she had to have noticed though. You know what I mean? Like when she was putting it in the bag.
Maybe she didn't,
Like
though.
she had to have seen like. Oh, hey, this is like super low on French fries for a medium. Oh, well, I don't care. I'm going to give it to the
like-
guy anyway.
Wait, this is like 7 ounces. It's normally 9.
Right, exactly. Like, you know what I mean? And she's
I
just
don't
like,
think so.
oh, well, I don't care. Like, I'm just going to throw it in the bag, give it to him anyway. Who cares? He's just another, transaction. Get him out of here. You know what I mean?
Here's what I'm gonna say about this. So that book I'm reading now is called The Untethered Soul, and I'm like, you should, I don't want to say you should read it, but I would recommend
Yeah.
anybody to read it or whatever. And it kind of says like, let's say everybody has their own like self-awareness. No, everybody has the same amount of self-awareness, So it's kind of like you like not saying like she has less self-awareness as to what happened in the bag. It's where you decide to focus it. So her self-awareness wasn't, maybe it wasn't focused on your McDonald's and your fries and everything. It was like, okay, on the phone or talking to this person or what's going to happen when I'm off of work, like
Right.
something like that. So like that division and partition of where like the self-awareness was just completely
That
ruined your
resulted
day,
in,
man.
That resulted in my half box of French fries.
That's what I mean.
And so, right, which I think is crazy. Like, I just
The butterfly
like all
effect.
that's just insane to think about. Like, but it's like, how many other people think about that same thing though? Like, can't be many.
Like, no, I'd say a few.
You think?
Yeah, more
I
than
would
you
say
probably
I would
think.
say the majority
It's
probably
who
does
opens
not,
their
though.
mouth, you know, like gets to
Yeah.
the point where it's like, oh yeah, I think that too, blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's like, but I don't think like how you were just like, oh yeah, she's probably thinking about like what is going on at home or when she gets off work or what party she's going to.
But see, like the
or
bad
whatever.
apples stand out from
It's
the
like-
rest. You know what I mean? And that's why it's so easy to like.
But that's the thing. That's
pull
what
it
I think all the time when I'm driving too, and I'm driving and I pass another car on the road, and it's like, oh yeah, I pass like probably like 10,000 cars like every week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So many people, and it's like to think in my head like, oh yeah, all those people, they all have their own families, they all
Yeah,
have
that's
their own
Sonder.
things going on in life. Like they all have their own
Problems.
jobs that they're going to. They have to go to work. She's probably tired driving home from wherever she's going. She's probably going home to a boyfriend who's like, whatever. Gotta go to bed, wake up in the morning, like maybe she's thinking like, hey, what are my New Year's resolutions, all that stuff. And it's like that's just one
She's like, yes, I'm gonna go to the gym on the
Right,
first.
exactly. Like that's just one woman driving her car past me in the opposite
And now I
direction.
want you to zoom
And
out
it's
on that
like-
picture,
and then
okay?
It's just like boom.
Now wait, zoom out. Like
All right.
picture it, okay? So
Yeah.
this car and this lady's there, okay?
Right.
This is important. Like this is like changed my life. This thought, okay? So she's like, even if it's you, like in your car, just picture you driving, like all
Right.
your problems, what you got to do, like why your stuff at GameStop matters. Like I'm not saying it doesn't, but honestly,
Right.
like none of it matters. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like none of my job works. Like I don't even matter. You know?
Yeah.
Like that's the bottom line. Is like when you zoom out and then just like picture like the town, the state, the everything, and then you get like so back to outer space, and at that it's like. Nothing. None of it matters. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Like who cares?
Like the reality
Right.
of it is, it's like it's so small. Nobody cares about like any of it that's outside their little like peripheral vision.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But it's like then it.
But that
leads
helps
me-
you put things into perspective too.
Absolutely
When something
does.
goes wrong, and it's like, okay, let me just zoom out mentally in my mind.
Right.
None of it matters. So why are we even caring?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But then I feel like if you get like that and then you zoom out too far and you stay zoomed out for too long,
Oh,
then it's
out
just
to
like,
lunch all the time.
And then it's like, then why care about anything at all? You know what I mean? Then
No, it's all
like-
about balance.
And that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, then who cares? Because it's like, oh, well, then why would I worry about eating healthy? And why would I worry about recycling? And why would I worry about like anything at all if I just zoom out? Hey, my one water bottle isn't gonna kill a fish. You know what I mean? If I just keep
I don't
eating
know about
McDonald's
that.
and my
After we're
diet,
talking
like-
about just because of how you missed a few fries and how that
exactly,
changed your
and
day,
now that's
this water bottle
giving
might
us a whole like hour's worth of content.
bust a
because of
dam
that.
or something.
Exactly. So like I don't know. It's just it's all very very interesting and like weird to think about. But it's like I want to know like how many people think about like how many people have seen me driving in a car
Yeah.
and are thinking about me and like talking about me to like someone they know and just be like, oh yeah, dude, I just passed you in this car. Like I wonder I wonder where he works. Like I wonder like what.
Well, you're very like
He's going
unspecific
on,
about
you
it,
know
so
what I mean?
it's like you
Like-
referring to this person, like anybody.
Yeah,
that
but
probably
I
can't really
think
think about it.
exactly. But I think about it like where I'm driving and like it'll just like jump into my head and I'll like turn to my left and like see someone driving. And I'm like, huh, I wonder what they have going on, like whatever, like about that specific person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I wonder if anyone's ever done that about me. That's weird.
So.
So.
Wait, do you have anything else?
No, that's about
Okay,
it.
so here's how I want to end it then. Is like, so in that book that I'm reading too, it's also about, because you keep saying driving in the car. And one example was, let's say you're like driving down a road, and it's basically about saying, so imagine you're like driving down this road and you see like all these trees and all this stuff coming at you. Because this is like timely to talk about it, because like then I'm gonna forget about this and this will
Yeah.
like help me remember. But you're like driving down the road and like think of all the trees, the houses, the signs, like all the sensory stuff around you, and you just like process it like nothing. You know, it just goes like in your eyes, process, gone. You know, and it's cool or whatever. But it's like, let's say you see a car come by, okay? And normally all the cars that come by are just like, what, like, you know, it's just like, whatever.
Exactly,
it just
right.
comes
You're
in,
not
it's just
even
like the
thinking
tree.
about it. Yeah.
But this is like the car of like an ex-girlfriend or something, you know?
Yeah.
And like, let's not say she's in there or something, but you just see this car come by, you know? And then you think she's in there and you're like, wait, two people in the scene, they're like hugging or something. And you think, and then you're like, oh my God. Like, you know, and then like that energy that it brings, like, just, you know, that like hatefulness or something, like how you're so bothered about it. And then what this book was saying though is kind of like, in order to like get past that and make it turn into just like censor like the trees and everything, you have to process it and everything. But if you never process it, it always is forever going to store somewhere. And it could like, it's saying if you don't process it in your mind, then your heart tries to process it. And that's why the emotion, like you seriously have like that energy buildup of like negativity
Right.
and all that. And then you just kind of like repress it in your heart. And it's like very important to actually like process that and then move on. So then, you know, whenever you see that, you can not waste your energy and not like close up and all that. But it's really interesting to think of like all the stuff that just comes in every day and just, you know, you process. And that one little thing that reminds you of something stupid, it's like, bam, it could like ruin your whole day.
Exactly. Absolutely. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I was
That's
mind blown reading that. It was really good.
That's insane. That
It was
blows
an
my
eye
mind.
opener.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
Like the restaurant?
like the restaurant.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's
Cool.
it.
All right. I like it.
Till next
Good
week,
discussion. Yeah, next week maybe.
we'll bring a dog home.
Next couple weeks. Yep. Bring a nice old dog hole. That'll be great.